The more he says, and the more he continues to spread this misinformation that this was any sort of con or scam, the more I have for the lawsuit that I am filing.
Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. I got a couple different, controversial topics within the space that's going on right now that I really find intriguing that I wanted to cover. Obviously, we have this CoffeeZilla one with Logan Paul here and his CryptoZoo project that's been kind of hitting YouTube and Twitter pretty hard. So I want to have like a quick little segment on that. And then we're going to be covering some of the Charles Gasparino and XRP community FUD that's been happening. But quickly coming over here, I want to check out CoinGecko. We're currently sitting under $1 trillion market cap still, sitting at 857 billion. I wanted to start here with this Crypto Lulu video because I thought it was quite intriguing. I'm not saying that I quite agree with everything, but I kind of like his stance on things and how he views what's going to happen with XRP, once the word of the settlement coming out. So let's take a quick listen into this.
Here's what happens when Ripple wins the court case against the SEC. Hours before the court case is settled, the institutions and the banks gets wind of the fact that Ripple has just won the court case against the SEC. As a result, they start putting things in place. Perhaps they start buying more XRP from the secondary market. The XRP price rockets up like nothing we've ever seen before, and this is all before the announcement is made to the public. The public get wind and more FOMO happens, so much FOMO that the whole bull run starts because of this Ripple win. Over the course of the next 10 years, we see XRP get to $10,000 and we're all rich. We know that banks and financial institutions need XRP to operate their business in the most efficient and cost-effective way. I made a full video on all the outcomes of...
So, obviously, certain people have their certain opinions based on, what they see in regards of the projected future price of XRP. For me, that's, merely interesting. I know that it's going to be worth more, based on my high conviction, based on the evidence that's presented to me. I believe that it's going to be higher than it is today. And that's kind of what matters to me. I'm not really too fond about speculating on these astronomical numbers. We'll just kind of take it day by day, week by week, month by month, and just push on from there. But I thought it was quite interesting. I do believe that, once the so-called settlement talks, if there is settlement or just resolution within the case happens, I think price is definitely going to move hard prior to the actual public announcement. That's just kind of, if you just look at the history of things, that's just kind of what happens. People have inside information and the price is going to move the way it's going to move. But, definitely once the lawsuit ends, whether it's a settlement or, some sort of judge verdict within litigation, I can definitely highly expect intense and extreme FOMO. And that's what's going to carry the digital asset XRP to some astronomical numbers just within the short term as well. So we'll see. I guess is dependent based on what the market's like. If we're still in a bear market, what's going on with geopolitical things, state, other challenges and struggles and just negative narratives that are taken, hold at, during that specific time of settlement or litigation being complete. Who knows? But definitely we can expect XRP, the price to definitely be higher than it is today. And if we come over here to CoinGecko, we're currently sitting at 34 cents. So, that's a no-brainer. We know that the previous all-time high back in late 2017, 2018 was just under $4 at 380. I think it was like $3.80 on some exchanges. So we can definitely expect some of that. So moving on, there's been a lot of a lot of heat kind of going on within the XRP community in regards to Charles Gasparino, who was supposed to be, one of the journalists that was truly set out, to kind of go against the status quo in these mainstream media outlets and kind of, report on the facts. And there's just been some discrepancies in regards of, what he's been tweeting in the XRP community, kind of feeling disrespected and betrayed. So we're going to kind of cover some of that. But I wanted to cover this thread from John Deaton real quick, because it kind of goes hand in hand with what Crypto Lulu was putting up, as in talking about some of the importances of digital asset XRP, especially after litigation. So Altcoin Daily had tweeted out saying, "Does anybody care about XRP?" So John Deaton says, "My previous response to this Altcoin Daily tweet was reported by you today. But if this is meant to be a serious question, then I'm willing to go on their show and explain why everyone in crypto seems to already care, and if they don't already care, should care." So he has a short thread here that I want to cover because I think it's important, and it covers and highlights some important aspects of this topic. It says the objective evidence is that a lot of people care a whole lot about XRP, especially recently. Bitcoin maxis like Max Kaiser and Saylor and others care about XRP because they support the SEC's case versus Ripple and hope the SEC wins. More money goes into Bitcoin, right? So then he comes down here and he goes, some people in the media like Jim Cramer care enough to publicly call XRP a scam, but let's be real, Jim Schill, Jim, I think he meant to say SH, so Schill, like Jim Schill wouldn't know the difference between the XRP ledger and Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, even if one of them were labeled Microsoft. Then he puts a video up there and then he continues. The self-proclaimed Satoshi Nakamoto himself cares enough to discuss XRP and bash it as crypto's longest running scam and engage in a Twitter battle with Ripple CTO Joel Katz or David Schwartz. As you can see, whether it is positive or negative, a lot of people seem to care about XRP. Then he continues, by the way, were you aware that the U.S. Government Accountability Office cared enough that it highlighted XRP in 2014 and described it as a virtual currency utilized in a decentralized payment system called Ripple? This was 9 years ago. By the way, were you aware the U.S. government's FinCEN cared enough about XRP that it and the DOJ investigated Ripple and settled in 2015, classifying XRP as a, quote, convertible virtual currency, forcing Ripple to register all XRP sales with FinCEN and comply with U.S. banking laws? He continues, by the way, were you aware that in 2019, U.S. government highest regulators cared enough that they highlighted only 4 crypto assets and XRP was one of them, along with Bitcoin, ETH, and Litecoin in 2019 FSOC, so FSOC annual report to the U.S. Treasury. So then he put this up here. Then he continues, former conflicted SEC officials like Hinman, Berger, and Clayton cared enough to file a lawsuit as they were all walking out the door to get jobs or to go to jobs supporting ETH and Bitcoin only. Even though Joe Grundfest, who had helped ETH co-founder, said there was no difference between ETH and XRP. If you're not a Bitcoin maxi and own ETH or any other altcoin, you should care about XRP because what George Schwartz decides about XRP is likely the only clarity we get for the next 2 years. If she decides XRP is a security, it will embolden the SEC to come after other tokens. And we've been kind of spreading that information, for the past 2 years, we can say from the leading the charge of John Deaton in the class action lawsuits. Like, we've been talking about how important it is. Then he goes, finally, some people care enough about XRP to ask whether anybody cares about XRP. I mean, just drop the mic right there. Solid thread. I want to shout out John Deaton for all his strong work. But it ties into just the conversation of like, why does it all matter? Why does Ripple versus SEC matter? Why does it matter that Ripple and XRP community have success and win the litigation within the SEC against the SEC? Especially for the likes of our chairman Gensler, like clearly is out to back the incumbents and not looking out for the everyday investors like us. And they're trying to get a bigger piece of the pie of the crypto pie, trying to stranglehold and control the entire industry. And it's going to only hurt the verdict. If it's negative against Ripple and XRP, it's only going to hurt the entire industry. And it's been quite evident. Look at what they're doing. They're attacking exchanges. They're attacking, blockchain companies, and they're just decimating the space. And it's quite evident. So we're going to go into kind of what's been happening. So this is Charles Gasparino here, and he says, I see zero criminal conduct on behalf of Bill Hinman. Zero. Does that automatically mean the SEC did the right thing suing Ripple? Of course not, but deal with the facts. And then bullish divergence on this tweet. This was on January 6th at 7:40 a.m. Bullish divergence says, you have lost all credibility. So this, it was the start of just this big old debacle. So Jeremy Hogan's responding to what Charles Gasparino said in that previous tweet. He says, let me see. An experienced SEC lawyer says a crime was committed and Johnny D also, but Mr. Gasparino says there was none. Yeah, gonna have to go with the 50 years worth of lawyers on that one and with a smiley face. So that continues some more stuff. Charles Gasparino goes, an experienced SEC lawyer says a crime was committed, which means the guy goes to jail. Someone check Jeremy's law license and make sure it's not from Trump University. So clearly, it's, and I'm not even going to go over the entire thread. I highly recommend you just kind of come in and kind of read what's been going on. I know people within the YouTube realm have been, updating and making videos on it, but it's been quite intriguing. And I wanted to cover this right here. This is from British Miss. It says, it's a sad day when the XRP community falls out with Charles Gasparino, who was and is our mainstream media voice. Really upset. The crypto Twitter space really can disappoint. And Crypto Bull hits it on the head here. He goes, reading this, you must fail to comprehend his actions. He ridiculed one of the best researchers within the XRP community, while this sorry excuse of journalists follows a narrative now. It says, Shui says, agreed, whoever and whatever turned old Charles on, it was for a reason, playing his part now like he has always, or like he always has. He never was an ally. Now, Eleanor Terrett, there was our ally. Let Charles spew stupidity, quit engaging with him. So it continues here. Charles Gasparino says, I don't want to make a blanket statement about the XRP community, but this episode over what I tweeted about SEC and why it brought the Ripple case and Hinman's alleged culpability definitely underscores a very bad group think and lack of basic knowledge about the law. He continues, first, I'm not taking sides, just reporting how the SEC rationalized going after XRP as opposed to ETH. Next, check yourself on Hinman. You want to believe he's guilty of something, fine, but you got to prove it, and you're not even coming close. And then Tim just hits it on the head. ETHgate is real, bro. I mean, just straight up. Tim had put something here. So obviously there's a lot of back and forth going on with Charles Gasparino, and based on what we've been reporting on this channel, and what's been happening against Ripple, the company, and especially the XRP community and the digital asset XRP, there's been a constant attack going on, and it's been more prevalent as of recent, I would say the past few months, than ever, which kind of tells us a bunch of different things. We can speculate saying, well, maybe they're trying to scare us, trying to accumulate more. Maybe they know kind of something, something's coming ahead, maybe whether it's a resolution within the case, whether it's from the judge or from some sort of settlement, who knows. But Tim has a good tweet here. He says, who will be attacking the XRP community and XRP army next week? As of recently, at least once a week, a big name comes hard at us. The people still here can't be shaken out. Keep trying. ETHgate, hashtag ETHgate, hashtag fire Gary Gensler. Be careful who we trust these days. And that's just real. I mean, that's a straight up tweet right there. So obviously there's a lot more going on. You can go in these tweet threads and kind of see what's happening. But I mean, there's just a lot of just back and forth arguments and, opposing opinions. And it's like almost like certain people lack the ability, the capability of just kind of respecting, one's position on something. And quite honestly, when it comes to Charles Gasparino, I don't know, man, you got to be careful, especially with all the hard work and the scrutiny and just the sacrifice and the pain that the XRP community alone has, undergone just in the past 2 years alone, not even talking about the previous years. And it's like to just kind of throw out certain statements. I mean, you kind of need some PR representation there, especially, when you were literally the mainstream media voice for us, you and Eleanor Terrett. And, when you're on, speaking with Liz Clayman on Fox Business, I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of like, wow, what the heck is going on? Moving on here, I wanted to cover this really quick before we get into the CoffeeZilla and Logan Paul stuff. It says, Watcher Guru says, just in, Sam Bankman-Fried requests access to his 450 million Robinhood stake for legal fees. And remember, his big thing was like, oh, I only have 100,000 to my name. But it's like 100,000 to your name, but you have and always had access to this Robinhood stake of 450 million. Interesting. And obviously the whole Sam Bankman-Fried FTX stuff, it's still that rabbit hole continues to go deeper. Obviously he pled non-guilty, and I don't think there's some sort of litigation going to be taking place until October of 2023. So people were kind of upset about, he has the ability to play video games and do what he does, all the way up until October. When, if anybody else were to do it, either one of us or, someone that's not as well connected as him, we would have been locked up, without hesitation. There's just a lot of shady stuff going on, man. And it's kind of crazy. But we're going to end on these few things here. So obviously the reason why I'm pulling this up is I'm not trying to, just pull out a lot of the drama within the space. But I think this CoffeeZilla and this Logan Paul and this Crypto Zoo, debacle sheds light on kind of what's important within our industry. CoffeeZilla he's a YouTuber that does a great job of, investigating, kind of like how us XRP community members, we do some, investigating of our own. We call it, we're known as Twitter sleuths, or, we investigate, obviously we've connected the dots with ETHgate stuff and just kind of piecing together things. This is kind of what he does in the realms of just, scammers and, fake gurus and all that stuff. And he's always done a great job. I follow this guy for, I think he was way below 100,000 when I followed this guy. But anyways, he did a great job, shedding light on Logan Paul's CryptoZoo project, because there was thousands of people who lost hundreds of thousands of dollars invested into this project when the overwhelming concept is like they weren't even working on it. Like, you know, they're saying, oh, we're doing this and we're doing that, but in the end, there was nothing actually taking place. So he kind of shed a light on all that. And I highly recommend you go into CoffeeZilla's YouTube channel and you kind of follow his series of videos he put out, because I'm not going to cover all the details, but I just wanted to talk about this because it sheds light on what's important. Without the XRP community, ETHgate doesn't get surfaced, okay? And without the likes of CoffeeZilla and people like him, the shady, careless acts of, you know, rug pulling, you know, everyday investors and people that, you know, look up to these influencers and look up to these blockchain companies or whatever the case is. Without that accountability, it's just going to keep being swept under the rug, and it's going to continue to happen at a growing rate. So I want to shout out CoffeeZilla for all the strong work that he does. So obviously, when it comes to this Logan Paul stuff, you know, who knows, you know, how things are going to take place. Obviously, there's been some changes, and we're going to cover it. But the point is, the overwhelming point is, it's like the shady actors, the dirty people within the industry, and these fraudulent and scammy projects and, you know, tokens and, you know, NFT projects and all this stuff, it needs to be exposed and people need to be held accountable. So that's why I'm bringing this up. So, CoffeeZilla had put this up at this January 6th at 9:10 p.m. It says, Logan called me. He said he's deleting the 2 responses and he's dropping the lawsuit threats. I believe he's making a 3rd response, which I'll be delaying my video to include. So apparently he's already making a video. CoffeeZilla is making a video in response to Logan Paul's 2nd video, I think. Hopefully this time he takes accountability and refunds the victims of the CryptoZoo. That's what matters. So listen to how he said that. So obviously he's a YouTuber. He makes, you know, he gets money from ad revenue or whatever. I don't think he does any like paid advertisements or anything on his channel. I think he has like some other ways that he earns money. So he's just genuinely a good person that finds, you know, interest. It was almost like a hobby for him in the beginning, like where he was like, you know, this is wrong. I think I can make content on this and try to expose, you know, some of these people. So if I can protect, you know, one investor, that's making a difference. That's the type of person he was, and, you know, for who he portrayed in his content. That's why I valued and watched his content, because it was interesting and intriguing, and it's only gotten better over time. But this is huge though. It's like accountability, refunding victims. That's what matters. And that's why I'm putting this on here. So coming over here, this is Logan Paul talking about CoffeeZilla, and it says a lot. Let's take a quick listen into this.
Why did you block him on Twitter?
It's like a little gnat. It's like a little fucking annoying gnat, and it bothers me. He won. He got to me, bro. He's the most formidable opponent I've had. I'm not kidding. The guy's good.
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot of respect there. I mean, he's solid. And obviously I played the clip in the beginning of the video where he's talking about he was coming after him for a lawsuit for defamation and stuff. And apparently all that's changed. Like he's dropping all those things, meaning Logan Paul's not coming after him. He's going to try to, I guess, do the right thing. And let me make sure I got this right. So this is the CryptoZoo project thing right here. This is kind of what it came out to be. And CoffeeZilla had put this up on January 3rd saying, fear not CryptoZoo holders who spent millions in 2021. The basic game might be delivered in 2023, 2024. And definitely not because I made a video series about it. So the reason why this is profound is because if CoffeeZilla didn't do his investigative work to the degree that he did, and, you know, I think he said something along the lines of over a year, would Logan Paul and the CryptoZoo team, if you will, have truly made any differences? Would they have even, you know, stepped up to say, you know, hey, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work? Or would they continue to just ignore, you know, the people that lost hundreds of thousands of dollars with, you know, investing into this project, and just kind of just been avoiding, you know, actually taking accountability and trying to help the community? Like without CoffeeZilla, would anything have happened with CryptoZoo? And a lot of people are speculating no. And quite honestly, based on the evidence that I see, I completely agree. So coming back over here really quick, apparently Logan Paul's response to the it looks like this was why am I blanking on the name? Discord. This looks like this is their Discord. So it says Logan's response. His response was, quote, rash and misaligned with the true issue. He's going to be taking accountability, apologizing, coming forward with a plan. So Logan Paul says, hey, all, just wanted to update you. I deleted my initial response to Coffee's series. It was rash and misaligned with with the true issue at hand. So I called him today and apologized. The war is not with coffee. In fact, I'm grateful he brought this to light. I will be taking accountability, apologizing, and coming forward with a plan in the near future. Thank you all for believing in this project and sticking with me. I know it's been bumpy, but your support is everything to me, and I will make this right. So like, would this even be a thing if Coffee never came out with his series and the research wasn't done? Or would it just constantly just be put on back burner? I mean, if you go to CoffeeZilla's video series, I mean, there's literally people that spent, $40,000, $50,000, $100+ thousands of dollars into this project, looking up to Logan Paul, seeing that he's a successful influencer, and, hearing, him constantly go on podcasts and talk about, oh, this is the next big thing, and kids are going to love this, and this is fun, and this is going to be this, and you can earn this. And I mean, everyone that was highly invested into this project lost everything. And it's in a sense worthless. There was even people talking about like these CryptoZoo eggs. Let me go back to the image. Where's it at? Yeah, these CryptoZoo eggs, like when you got the NFT, like you couldn't even hatch them. There was people talking about that. And the whole concept was you were supposed to be able to hatch these eggs, get your animals or whatever, and then you would be able to crossbreed them and make a blend of it. And you would earn, I think it was like zoo token or something based on, I guess the asset you hold and whatever the game was supposed to be. I mean, just a lot of shady stuff. And I guess we're going to find out, the fine details, but based on what Coffee has presented in his research, I mean, the evidence against Logan isn't good. And clearly based on Logan Paul's, coming out on his podcast and now, apologizing to CoffeeZilla, retracting the lawsuit, the threat of a lawsuit and all that stuff. I think he's kind of trying to protect his career at this point and realizing, hey, this isn't going to work. I'm not going to be able to scare tactic CoffeeZilla, and the community's clearly not agreeing with what's happening. They were even talking about, I think during this this podcast, Impulsive Podcast on his YouTube channel, it had like the ratio at the time was like, I think it was like 30 something. Was it 30 something thousand likes and then like 191 dislikes or something? It was something crazy. Like, I don't even know if that, maybe it was on Twitter. Someone had posted it and I meant to put it up here, but I didn't. But yeah, apparently the ratio was terrible. So it was like supposed to be Logan Paul's way of like shutting down CoffeeZilla's investigation and, speaking the truth and saying I'm not wrong and, I'm not guilty of this and we're not scamming anybody, but no one was buying it in a sense. So now, obviously he's trying to turn the page and it seems like do the right thing. So we'll see. I wanted to end with this little 1 minute clip here. It says, this is from Jake Lucky. It says, after the Logan Paul versus CoffeeZilla drama, a YouTuber remade Logan Paul's CryptoZoo game in 3 hours, but instead made his free to play for everyone. Laugh out loud. So let's take a quick listen to this. This is intriguing.
Hey, so this kid out there tried to replicate Logan Paul's CryptoZoo project. He claims to have done this in 3 hours. And as you guys can tell, you've been hatching eggs. He actually gave you coins so you can play the game for free. You use these coins to hatch these eggs. Then you get these animals. As you can see by my page, I'm pretty freaking stacked with animals. Like, really stacked. You can get common animals, uncommon, rare. I believe there's probably some above that. You can breed the animals, and then they yield you coins back, to which you keep on opening eggs and get more coins, so on and so forth. It's extremely buggy. But I like to see myself as one of the biggest real zookeepers out there right now. And it's just funny that a kid did this in 3 hours and Logan hasn't talked about his in a year. So that's the funny part about all of this.
That is the funny part about it, though. It's like Logan from the beginning talked about how his team put over $1 million in, right? Put $1 million worth in, not including all the investors that invested into the project as well. And this kid did this simple, let me come back so I can see. Yeah, this simple concept, which this is what CryptoZoo was supposed to be. I like how he says real zoo. So yeah, this simple concept that should have been very easy, especially with the amount of capital that they had. But no, it's almost like they were just gaslighting their community. And that's what CoffeeZilla was exposing. Long story short, I just wanted to bring it up because it goes hand in hand of, obviously the XRP community is dealing with this Charles Gasparino debacle and this whole argumentative conversation that's going back and forth of what's real and what isn't. the whole point is like, without the strong work of everyday people that, are standing up for what's right, not looking out for incumbents, not, having some sort of, ulterior agenda, just truly are trying to make a better life for their families and invest in things with their hard-earned money. Like, without the strong work of the crypto community, like the XRP community, for a perfect example, looking into the shady, conflicts of interest, and then the bad actors within the government, and then the ties within the negative aspects of our community, hashtag ETHgate, and, all these different things. Without that, and without trying to hold people accountable, what do you think is going to happen to this space? They're talking about, the digital asset space being, the next big thing, the next Amazons, the next, Apples and Microsofts. And, when it comes to this new plumbing of this new financial institution, it's like, okay, well, do we want it to be the exact same as what we're currently dealing with? Look what's happening to the debasing of the US dollar. Do we want that? Do we want that same control by governments and by, the powers that be, the 1% of the 1%? Like, no. So it's like, without the strong work of everyday people standing up for what's right, fighting the good fight, it's irrelevant. We're going to continue that same negative cycle. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And we can't have those discrepancies. And that's why I wanted to put this on, because people need to be held accountable. I've been scammed. I've been rugged, investing in this space since late 2017. I've made a lot of bad calls, but you know what? I was doing it with the right intentions. I was investing thinking that, hey, no, this is a solid project. This is a solid idea. And, I kind of believe in this team. And little do I know, they were scamming the entire time. People need to be held accountable for their wrongdoings, especially like someone like, Logan Paul. If he's truly guilty of anything, like, absolutely need to be held accountable. It's like, bro, you're very wealthy. I'm not saying you can't get more wealthy, but it's like, what do you need to scam people for? Why do you need to scam your followers? For what? They're there to support you. They're going to uplift you and earn you more money. Like, what are you doing? Everyday people need to be protected. And that's all I'm saying. Because we know we're not getting it from Gary Gensler and the SEC. They're supposed to be protecting us investors, but they ain't doing it. But that's what I have for you. And this one's a little bit longer, but I kind of wanted to give my 2 cents on a few things there. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe, follow us on Twitter at Crypto is Key 1. I really appreciate your support out there. Without that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.